You think the problem is that she's not interested, but the deeper problem is that you think desire is something you can talk a woman into. You think the answer is more effort, more charm, more strategy, but if a woman feels no pull towards you, you do not fix that by chasing harder. You fix it by understanding what creates desire in the first place. That truth stings because part of you wants a method, a sequence, a line, a trick strong enough to override reality. But here's the contrast you need to hear. You cannot negotiate genuine desire out of a woman who feels nothing. You cannot perform your way past her instincts. You cannot pressure chemistry into existence, but you can absolutely become the kind of man who stops killing attraction before it has a chance to breathe. And that changes everything. If you need truth like that, subscribe now. Not because I need followers, but because you need reminders. You need your mind pulled back from fantasy and re anchored in reality. You need to hear this again and again until weak thinking stops running your life. Most men are not suffering from lack of information. They are suffering from repeated self deception. They keep believing effort can replace energy. They keep believing persistence can replace presence. They keep believing more pursuit can cover up less self respect. It can't. Here's what it really means. If she's not interested, your mission is not to make her submit to your desire. Your mission is to stop acting in ways that make disinterest permanent and to become the kind of man whose presence naturally creates curiosity, safety, and tension where there might have been none before. Read that carefully. Not manipulation, not coercion, not mind games, self reclamation. Attraction is not forced, it is invited, it is felt, it is allowed, and most men destroy it by trying to control it. The misconception is simple. You think women desire the man who wants them the most. You think if you care enough, text enough, compliment enough, explain yourself enough, prove yourself enough, she will eventually realize what a good option you are. That is the fantasy. The hard truth is this: desire rarely grows in the soil of overpursuit. Desire grows around tension, contrast, mystery, emotional steadiness, grounded self respect. It grows when a woman feels a man has a life, a center, a standard, and he is not trying to use her response to decide whether he matters. Why do men get this wrong? Because too many of you were raised to think romantic success comes from overinvestment. You were taught that if you want something, you go harder, push more, show more, offer more, convince more. That mindset might work in business, it might work in training, it might even work in competition, but it does not work in attraction. Attraction does not reward pressure. Attraction exposes pressure. The more you push for a result, the more your inner state becomes visible. And if your inner state says, please choose me so I can feel valuable, that is the energy she feels beneath every word. That's called need. That's called emotional dependence. That's called handing your power to someone who never asked to carry it. And it costs you. It costs you your composure. It costs you your dignity. It costs you your ability to read reality clearly. You text too much. You explain too much. You lean too early. You become understanding when you should be observant. You become persistent when you should be self-respecting. You tell yourself you're showing effort, but what you're really showing is that you don't know how to stand still without chasing a result. A woman can feel that. She may not always say it, but she feels it. Instead of feeling drawn in, she feels managed. Instead of feeling tension, she feels pressure. Instead of wondering about you, she starts recovering from you. That's the part men never want to hear. You think you're losing women because they don't understand your value. Sometimes you're losing them because they do understand your value, and they can see that you don't. They can feel that you are trying to borrow confidence from their attention. And borrowed confidence always shakes. So reframe this whole conversation. Stop asking, how do I make her desire me even if she's not interested? And ask the harder, cleaner question. How do I become a man whose presence creates desire without forcing anything false? That question will save you. Because the first question is about control. The second question is about character. The first question comes from scarcity. The second comes from standards. And the answer begins here. Desire does not grow because you convince her. It grows because your energy becomes difficult to ignore. Not loud, not flashy, not theatrical. Difficult to ignore because it is grounded, because it is rare, because it feels clean. You stop trying to get chosen and you start becoming a man who chooses. You stop advertising your interest like a salesman and you start carrying yourself like a man whose life already has direction. You stop flooding the moment with effort and you start bringing something most men never bring: emotional steadiness. That is what women respond to more than men understand. Not just looks, not just words, not just status, steadiness. A man who is attracted but not destabilized by attraction. A man who can desire without collapsing. A man who can face beauty without becoming needy. A man who can enjoy connection without trying to trap it. That energy is rare because most men lose themselves the second they really want something. Picture the man who gets this right. He is not cold. He is not robotic. He is not pretending not to care. He is warm, but he is not overeager. He is clear, but he is not pushy. He has humor without clowning. He has confidence without noise. He can flirt without chasing. He can create tension without trying to possess the outcome. He has boundaries. He has purpose. He has discipline. He does not sit around all day trying to decode a woman's response like it's the meaning of his life. His life already means something. That is why his attention feels valuable. He is not handing it out for free in exchange for validation. He does not over-message. He does not over-explain. He does not audition for the role of good guy she should appreciate. He is present when he is there, and fully back in his own mission when he is not. He can walk away without performing indifference because the walk away is not a tactic. It is self-respect. He understands that desire needs space. He understands that attraction dies under pressure. He understands that a woman does not fantasize about the man who is always available to prove himself. She fantasizes about the man who made her feel something, then stayed rooted in himself. That does not mean you become fake. It means you become regulated. So what do? First, stop trying to win over women who are clearly closed. Stop chasing dead energy. Stop romanticizing resistance. If she is uninterested, withdrawn, inconsistent, dismissive, or only responsive when bored, take the information. Information is not an insult. Information is direction. The desperate man takes lack of interest as a challenge. The grounded man takes it as clarity. That's called discernment. Second, stop over-signaling your interest. Attraction dies when you flood the room. You do not need to keep proving you like her. She already knows. What she needs to feel, if there is going to be any desire at all, is that your interest is real but contained, controlled, self-owned, not spilling everywhere like a man starving for a reaction. You stop texting just to poke for reassurance. You stop complimenting to fish for warmth. You stop reaching for contact every time your anxiety rises. You stop. You stop. You stop. Third, redirect your energy back into your own life immediately. This is where weak men fail. They hear, don't chase, but inside they're still orbiting, still checking, still waiting, still hoping. That is not detachment. That is silent desperation. Real redirection means you return to your work, your body, your standards, your money, your social life, your mission, your peace. You make your world heavy enough that one woman's uncertainty cannot throw your identity into chaos. That is attractive because it is real. A man with gravity does not spin around one source of attention. Fourth, when you do engage, be simpler, cleaner, slower, say less, mean more. Most men talk too much when they want to be desired. They overcompensate, they perform, they pour out energy because they're scared silence will expose them. But silence does not expose a grounded man. Silence reveals him. If your eye contact is steady, your body language is relaxed, your pace is calm, your words do not need to do gymnastics. Desire often begins in the space where other men panic and start performing. Fifth, become hard to read in the right way. Not because you are playing games, but because you are not leaking your entire inner state every second. Mystery is not manipulation. Mystery is what remains when a man has an interior life, when he is not constantly explaining himself, proving himself, narrating himself, pleading to be understood. The woman feels there is more to discover. That matters. Fantasy needs room. Overexposure kills fantasy. Constant access kills tension. Predictable need kills attraction. And let's go even deeper. A woman who is not interested is not always rejecting you as a human being. Sometimes she is rejecting the version of you that is standing in front of her. The overeager version, the over-available version, the validation-seeking version, the man who is too easy to read because he is ruled by his appetite. Change the man, and sometimes the response changes. Not always. Accept that. Not always, but often enough that it matters. That is why the truth is not make her desire you. The truth is stop being the man who suffocates desire. Big difference. One is manipulative fantasy, the other is masculine responsibility. Do this. Slow down your pursuit. Cut your unnecessary messages in half. Stop initiating every interaction. Stop rewarding lukewarm energy with full investment. Stop treating attention like affection and affection like commitment. Read what is actually there, not what you want to be there. Then build contrast. Show up well, speak directly, hold eye contact, smile less out of nervousness and more out of actual amusement. Let your body relax. Let your life call you back. Let her feel that your attention is intentional, not compulsive. Then create standards, not fake standards you announce to sound alpha. Real standards. You do not chase inconsistency. You do not overinvest in confusion. You do not beg for clarity from people who enjoy keeping things vague. You do not turn chemistry into obsession. You do not accept crumbs because you are lonely. You do not keep shrinking yourself to remain nice. That's called self-betrayal. End it. And when you do connect with a woman, do not come in with the energy of a man trying to make something happen. Come in with the energy of a man willing to discover what is true. That subtle shift changes everything. One energy is force, the other is presence. One wants an outcome, the other wants reality. Women trust reality. They pull away from force, even when force is polite, even when force is charming, even when force is smiling. Ask yourself the question most men avoid. If she never desired you, would you still respect the way you handled yourself? Would you still be proud of your pace, your restraint, your clarity, your standards? Or would you look back and see a man who abandoned himself the second he felt attraction? That question matters because self-respect is not tested when things are easy. It is tested when you want more than you are being given. The man who wins long-term is not the man who can create the most short-term reactions. It is the man who keeps his center, the man who remains attractive even in uncertainty because he does not become frantic, the man who can hear no without becoming bitter, the man who can feel desire without turning it into desperation, the man who knows that his power is not in forcing interest. His power is in being so grounded, so alive, so self-respecting that interest has room to appear naturally. And if it doesn't, he moves on, cleanly. That is the part that separates men from boys. Boys cling to possibility. Men respond to reality. Boys chase almosts. Men choose what chooses them back. Boys make one woman the center of the movie. Men keep building the movie. So stop asking how to manipulate attraction. Start asking how to embody it. Stop asking how to get her to want you. Start asking what in you still needs female approval to feel whole. Stop treating women as the source of your power. Start becoming powerful in a way that women can feel without you announcing it. Train your body, sharpen your mind, clean up your style, fix your posture, build your money, deepen your friendships, develop your taste, strengthen your boundaries, learn to speak slowly, learn to leave room, learn to tolerate uncertainty without reaching for your phone like a nervous addict. Learn to enjoy a woman without mentally assigning her the job of validating your existence. That is maturity. That is edge. That is what creates a presence she can actually desire. Because desire is not built by a man who is trying to be enough. It is built by a man who knows he is enough and now meets the world from that place. Quietly, steadily, without begging, without rushing, without collapsing. So let the weak question die. How do I make her desire me even if she's not interested? You don't. You don't force interest. You don't campaign for chemistry. You don't negotiate attraction. What you do is become the man who no longer repels what he claims to want. What you do is remove need, rebuild your center, carry standards, and let reality sort itself out. Some women still won't be interested. Good. That is life. That is freedom. You are not here to be universally chosen. You are here to be deeply aligned. You are not here to chase every closed door. You are here to become the kind of man who does not panic when one stays shut. You are not here to beg for desire. You are here to embody a life that naturally generates it. You are the answer, not the tactic, not the line, not the strategy. You, your center, your standards, your purpose, your restraint, your self respect. That is what changes the game. If you want more truth like this, subscribe, because the world is full of fantasy for men who want control and very little guidance for men who want strength. Stay around voices that sharpen your frame, not voices that feed your delusion. And if you are building that kind of grounded presence, that kind of discipline, that kind of self respect, then understand this: you are not alone. You are with men who are done chasing validation and ready to become desirable for real reasons.